Hello. So in this tutorial, I maybe want to give a first introduction to the project for all that maybe forgot what we covered in the tutorials. Um, so I just want to make sure that everybody has a broad overview of what's going on and what the actual goal is. So what you will develop is a website, the user interface for a job board. And it is supposed to look more or less like this, where when you go to the website, you just see all the jobs that have been created and you can apply for them. You can give the details and then you can submit the application for the job. Those jobs have like a few data points that are input when when a company creates a job. They give it the name, they give it a type, full-time, part-time, things like that, salary, what the skills are, and when it was posted, and then they define some description. So the viewing of all the jobs and applying is possible for anonymous guests. But as I said, like to create a job, you have to be a registered user. So what you will also develop is this login and register modals, where when you click on them, you can type in data and then you can register, or you can log in. You can also change between the login and register here. And when you log in, you, for example, type in, so for example, this account already exists. So exactly. So this is how you log in. And then it displays here, welcome, and it says the email of the username. So now when you are logged in, so this basically means that you're a company, and now you have this admin interface. You can view all the applications to your jobs. There have been none so far. You can create a new job via this modal, where you type in all those data points, full-time, part-time, contract, internship, the salary, the description, the skills, when it was posted, and if you want a URL logo, but this is honestly not displayed anywhere, so just a URL. And you can view all the jobs that you have created. So here, those two jobs were created by someone else. We don't have them. If we create a new job, maybe test job, we say part-time, we say 50,000, you have a test job. Exactly, so we will create it, and now here in our my jobs we have this one test job that we created, and here in all jobs this now appeared. And now if somebody applies for this, they type in the necessary data, so they submitted this data, and then here in my jobs we still have this job, and now we also here we see, okay, Simon applied for a part-time job, for the job test job. They have this experience, this is the salary of this job, this is the required skills, and this is when they applied. And this is the email of the user, of what the person put into their email. Exactly. So as an admin, you can then also delete jobs. So now if we delete this job, what we now of course expect is that this doesn't appear here anymore because we deleted it, and also all the applications are gone because they were connected to the job, and if there is no job, there is also no applications to the job. Okay, so this is the goal that you have to develop. So now I will show you what you're given. It will be basically a template where it's a very rudimentary layout. So this is the project solution. This I will not show you, of course. Instead here, this is the template that you are given. You can download the zip from the Moodle, and you can always start it with this command. More details about running it, starting it, all the installations that are necessary are all written in the PDFs that are in the Moodle, in the React project section. So now we go again to this website, localhost 5000. And now you will see, okay, so now you have just this navigation without any login register. And here it just says, okay, this page needs to show all the jobs, something like that. So for example, this is, you can now then go to the source code that you downloaded, and you will see backend and frontend. Your development will all happen in the frontend. So here inside of the frontend, the source code is here inside SRC. And then the main things that you will change and add are here in components. So what you maybe now, if you want to see the job list, is this here. You will see here this page needs to show all the jobs. And always when you run this development server with npm run start, then it watches all the files. So for example, if you update this, if you and then store it, save it, I mean, then this will instantly update. Okay, so now I will maybe give you an overview of how the structure of the project is in the background. So what I will explain in the setup PDFs, in the preparation and introduction, is that you need to install MySQL, because this will be the database. So maybe we'll write the MySQL database. It stores all the applications, all the jobs, all the user data. This database, it will, you just need to create it. It's called, it's supposed to be called WebDevProj2. And you just have to create it. I also explained how to do that in the guide, in the PDF. And all the tables and all the fields and all the columns, those will be created by the backend. So the backend, you can imagine it here. The backend is responsible for interacting with the MySQL database. So the backend will read from and write to the database. So for example, if you want to create a job, then the backend will write this job data into the MySQL database. So the database, the backend is also finished. You don't have to touch it. The only thing that you may have to touch is here inside the configuration, is the configuration of your database. So this I explain also in the PDFs, where you have to say what the password of your database is, and potentially sometimes you have to change the port to something else. So for example, if you see in phpMyAdmin that your port is 8889, then you will have it to change it like this. In many cases, your password will be just the empty string, so then you have to change it like this. But otherwise, everything here in the backend is finished, and you don't have to change anything. So the backend is also written in JavaScript, and it provides an API, so an application programming interface, with which your frontend, your website, what you will develop, will communicate. So imagine now if we have here the frontend, which actually is the website that we see, so frontend website. So this is actually the part where here, what you see here is the frontend. So let's say a user clicks on the create job button when they are logged in. So what now will happen is you need to maybe collect all the data. You will have all the input fields, the name, maybe the description, the salary. So your code will take all this data, put it into a JSON object, and will then send it to the backend. You will do this via the API that is also explained in the API documentation. So let's maybe do it like this. So here we will post it. This is how it's called, to the API. Like this. We'll post it to the API. So what this will then do, the backend will now start processing all this data. So what this means, it will check if you are actually logged in. So it will check the authorization. So if you are correctly logged in, if you're actually allowed to create a job, and it will then write to the database. So then this backend will actually do the SQL things to create this new job in the database. And after that, it will like either give a positive or negative return. So if it's correctly worked, then it will be a success. If not, then it will give an error. Maybe give result. So then you will get a result with, it's also documented always in the API documentation, with some kind of confirmation. So in this case, the confirmation will be all this data again, additionally a ID of this new job. So yeah, this is the overview, and everything that you have to write and change is this part, so the front end, and the part that sends and receives any data from the backend. But all of this is already done by me. You can, of course, look into the code, how it works, but I don't think it's necessary because I supplied, for example, the API minus documentation. I think it's a PDF. It's also in the Moodle. And this file describes all those endpoints. So for example, for the creating a job, it's a @/API/jobs endpoint where you post data to, which is the endpoint to creating a new job. Okay, so I hope you have now received some broad overview and also some small details of the project, and that you now at least know what is going on and what the part is that you have to focus on.